welcome to my channel. Today is a whip and chat, and today is Tuesday for me. You'll be getting this on Wednesday. Let me just stop that focus from flashing in and out. Try and get myself comfy. Grab your tea, grab your coffee, have a tea. It will probably be cold by the time I finish. And I probably still want to take a sip. I am currently working on Victoria's Moon. This is my black stallion, and you are seeing this upside down. The gapping you can actually see here, and you can actually see it all over because I've got the light pad on. Turn the light pad off, it's not quite so bad. These are actually grey, shadow, contrast, whatever. The gapping is real, it's square, it's reasonably horrendous. They're not tabby though, they're just gappy. So certainly not going to look pretty close up, but you kind of hope that it's not going to be close up viewed. And I kind of like the horse. I want to see what happens a bit further down before I maybe go, yeah, this is really poor. I know people have had very mixed opinions on Victoria Moon. So yeah, it is what it is, I suppose. Alright, Ziploc bags, again, this is how I open them, if my camera's picked this up, because it never seems to happen the way I want it to. Let me give you a zoom. Ziploc bags, how I open them is finger, thumb, click and slide. It makes a spout and you can pour one or two, you pull it back, you zip it closed, job done. Go with the 4-placer today. I will be using something a little bit more meaty in just a few minutes. I just want to get these incidental drills out of the way. Say, I thought I had put something not so clear tape down or something. Maybe not. Alright, for high-tech storage, by the way, this is my high-tech storage for Victoria Moon. This is a box that I got my microphone in, and I've just got card dividers dividing the bags. The bags already come Ziploc bagged, like they would from Treasure Studios. I think Rachel sends them in bags as well. And yeah, it's kind of half kitted up. What I have done is drawn the symbols onto the bags, just because there's 20 symbols and they were reasonably easy. I've just drawn them on, and there's the inventory sheet that I have on a Xyron sticker maker sticker thingamajiggy. It's very, very monotone. I kind of tend to do this when I want a bit of maybe mindless stuff to do, but yeah, progress has been slow. I think what I've been concentrating on most recently has been my cross stitch. Don't know why the diamond paint, actually I do know why the diamond painting hasn't been ticking along. It's because I've got all squares out and I don't have a round that I can just kind of do for fun. I took out a square for fun, and yeah, it's harder going. But I do much prefer the effect that squares give, even if they are a bit slower. But yeah, that's a little bit of where I'm at. I may go into more detail as we go through. This last week has been kind of boring and quiet. I've been off work, so haven't been out much. Just been home, chilling, monitoring the pain levels with my disc. My psychologist gave me the chart for anyone who's dealt with chronic pain before. The chart that kind of goes, describe the pain, so you give it a colour and an action and a thingamajiggy, and I've got it written down, it's under my light pad here. But you basically, you know, for all intents and purposes, name and shame the pain. And then you do some breathing techniques, and then you go, and what's the pain doing now? And it will have changed. And I think the whole point of it is saying that pain is dynamic, it changes, and it can also change for the better. I didn't do that meditation technique back when I was doing meditation a few years ago. But it was slightly familiar to me. I don't know, just hearing it around the traps or something, I don't know. So yeah, I've got to, whenever I get the twinge, I'm kind of going, okay, what is it, and where is it, and what color is it, and what does it feel like? And it's a bit weird, but it kind of helps. But then in my instance, it's not actually staying. It's more like, I'm going to stick you with a hot coal, and then I'm going to run away. It's like knock a dolly that you used to do when you go and knock on your neighbour's front door or doorbell and then run away, usually laughing and screaming, but you know, because you were having fun and your neighbours were getting pissed off at you. You know, that's what the pain's doing to me. It's going, hey Pippa, and then running away. It's like, fuck off. Anyway, all right. I have been busy doing videos. Yeah, mostly doing flossy stuff. So this last week, and try as I might, you know, it's all well and good, and I do apologise if this doesn't happen, and please remind me. If I say that I'm going to put something into the eye, it's a post-production thing, and by the time I've made the video, I've probably forgotten that I need to actually put a card up, and I've therefore said, oh, I'm going to put it in the eye, and I might have forgotten by the time it goes into post-production. Because what you do is you upload the video, which takes whatever long time it takes, after you've edited the video, which takes however long that takes. So you're talking hours, days later, and you might have forgotten that you meant to put an eye in the card in a particular time. So if I've missed those, please remind me in the comments and I will fix it, because they get added really easily afterwards, but it's just memory. What was that comment? Oh, he says I'm becoming more like him. What was that? Cynical and forgetful. Yeah. Oh dear, Peanut Gallery was busy doing soup a few minutes ago. So now he's back in the room. Yeah, I thought it was safe. So yeah, I've been busy doing flossy stuff. Oh yeah, I ice dyed. No, I didn't ice dye. I Kool-Aid dyed yarn wool that I got in my knit crate box. They will be out. I think I've got them loaded up for next week, and the dyeing video is the following midweek video after I show you what's in it. Oh my god, I think I get a bit excited. Yeah, my husband thought it was spiders. Unfortunately not. It is... I don't react that way to spiders, but anyway. So yeah, I did some Kool-Aid dyeing. I didn't know when I'd be able to do it, and I've got some editing issues. What I might do is actually pull it down, redo some sound, and upload it again, because the sound is really crap on my laptop. And that's what I was using when I was recording in the kitchen. So yeah, editing joys. And I would rather not give you guys poorer quality when, you know, hopefully the quality has improved with my UB mic that I've got. And I didn't think to plug it in. I thought, yeah, it's going to sound ish, but I didn't think it was going to sound as bad as it did. So yeah, quality control, I think, is going to get the better of me. So yeah, you guys won't see any difference other than it releasing when it's releasing. But yeah, you won't have heard how bad it was in the first place, hopefully. If we get around to doing that. Off work for another week, and I've decided I'm going to go back to work next week. It's kind of like, well, you know, this thing isn't going to heal anytime soon, and I'm just going to have to learn to manage the pain and the moving and all of that kind of thing, which is a pain in the ass. Funny. Because on one hand, it's kind of like, be active as much as possible and don't stagnate in your position. But then on the other hand, every time I get up and stand from my horrible office chair, I'm kind of going, oh fuck, I have to stand. And it's like that at the moment when I'm looking at something on the ground and it's like, oh shit, I've got to bend down. And that seems to be my predominant default at the moment. It's like, oh god. Yeah, is Sophie around? Can Sophie pick it up? Is she going to be happy to pick it up? You know, she's too precocious, you know, so sometimes it's fine, she'll pick something up, and other times she'll throw a blue fit, and it's like, oh god. Right, I'll just do it myself. You know, or she'll want to be put to bed, and she'll turn around for a carry, and the carry is okay, it's just that it's the low level putting her down. I'm kind of thinking, oh crap. You know, she doesn't realise that. She just wants, you know, the mummy cuddles down the hole. Where did I put the hearts? You know, as any kid would do. Lord, haven't I lost it already? Hang on. Oh, I haven't done hearts yet. I thought I had done hearts. Oh, okay. I thought I had done hearts. Hang on. I had done hearts. I just hadn't put it away. That's... ugh, brain. Oh dear. So yeah, that's where I'm kind of at. I'm, you know, just not moving around much this week, so I'm... But a couple of hours last night, it was kind of grabbing and pinching and doing nasty things. I'm trying also not to take the heavier drugs, just cause, and making do with the paracetamol as much as I can. I wonder if I've put the wrong colour on. Maybe that's what I've done. Oops, if I have. Anyway, no, I don't know. Yeah, I know. I can't make up my mind. Yeah, I've got all of these. I bought a cross stitch magazine. I did a flip through last weekend. Video went up. I don't usually do flip throughs. Oh, I know what I did with the bag now. I just probably tossed it this way. Don't normally do flip throughs, but then found another magazine yesterday, and then I was looking at the magazine waiting in line to pay. I noticed that there was a Beano in the kids magazines that I was standing next to, so I grabbed one of those too, and once I read it I will give it to hubby. I don't know if he'll read it. We both used to read them when we were kids, and then I will give it to the 10-year-old to read. But I better hurry up because she's out of here on Thursday night and it's already Tuesday. I'm trying to encouraging her to read. That's it's interesting. We haven't found a series of books that she really loves, although yesterday she did pick up a book voluntarily, which is amazing. Ina Blyton does seem to be a bit of a draw card. Now, what have I done? I have missed those. So she was reading Mr. Womble and other stories, and she's kind of going, Mr. Womble, and I'm going, Womble? Who? Do we have stories about Wombles? I didn't realise. Now, if you're from the UK, you are familiar with what Wombles are. They live in the tip, in the dump, and they recycle. And they would have been around in the late 60s, possibly the early 70s. They were recycling back then. They would... Definitely 70s, but I'm not sure if they were around before I was born. But anyway, they were certainly around mid-70s kind of era. I've got one of their albums, because they used to do all these songs too, and the, you know, a whole load of characters, and they all used to do different things. And what? Yeah, it was colour too. Tobermory was the engineer, and Madame Chalet was the fluffy harlot with the big boofy hair. No, she was... What was Madame Chalet? She was kind of like the grandma figure who... I'm not quite sure what she did. There was one of them who was, you know, an idiot who would keep making mistakes, and then there was Uncle Bulgaria, and Uncle Bulgaria was like the patriarch of the oversight. He was the old man. Dumbledore for Wombles. Oh dear. Cal, if you're ever listening to me, and I know you watch my videos, you're going to be cracking up listening about the Wombles, because this is something that you definitely would know about. Anyone who's from the UK, I think, of my age, would know who the Wombles are. But yes, they were, yes, recyclers way, way back. Dear. Squares. No, I'm sorry. I'll try and keep this in camera. What I'm doing is just sliding, making a spout. And because you've made a round spout, it actually pours easier than you cracking it open and having that sharp bit, because you've got that lippy, gathery bit in the inside of the Ziploc. It was just something I saw, something I practiced. I actually did a technique video back when my sound was crap. Maybe I should do another one that's just dedicated to using a Ziploc bag, because, as I said, Rachel from Treasure Studios kits her kits up like this. Some other companies also kit in Ziploc bags, so maybe people would be searching how to open Ziploc bags or how to pour from Ziploc bags. I don't know. Anyway. What else is going on? So yeah, I need to do an actual floss tube catch up with all my stitching. What I have decided to do is my floss tube videos or stitching kind of videos more on the weekends, and keep my diamond painting for midweek. I do have quite a bit lined up for the future, just unboxings and series still playing out and things like that. So so far so good. That's going okay. I need to get my head into gear for when that big series finishes. And I'm enjoying the Frivolous Fridays, the stupid facts that I'm finding, because I happen to be doing a jigsaw that gives me an idea, you know, of what to do, is quite fun, because it's kind of spontaneous, and because, you know, I come to do the video, it's, you know, potentially it's only supposed to be a shorty, it's only supposed to be 15-20 minutes long, depending on how long it takes me to do a dot to dot. It is only going to potentially last as long as the dot to dot books last. I'm doing a pretty good effort with the current book I'm using, but I have got one more book to go. So I mean, you could be looking at another year of Frivolous Fridays. The subject matter last Friday was toy facts. That was really interesting. It was you know, like Lego pieces. There's something like 9 billion combinations for 2 4x2s, you know, the 8 blocks. You know, I was like, what? You stupid things like that. And I'm kind of thinking, there's what? There's how many? You know, something ridiculous for what you think is, well, it's a small piece of Lego, and you kind of think, well, what am I going to do with it? But there's all these different combinations of shapes that you can allegedly do. It must have been more than 2. Anyway, yeah, I know. See, I can't even remember these stupid facts. These are the kind of things that are going to come out in the pub quiz, that if I ever went. But what did I do the week before that was, I can't even remember what the week before that was, but I know I've done grave facts, graves or cemetery facts. I've done, and I've started putting in what the subjects are this time, rather than, you know, just Frivolous Friday as a header on its own. I did Irish facts, I think, on the night I did some cross-stitching of the Irish border of my black work that I haven't touched since of that one. You know, So it's a wide variety. I know Mrs. Coffee has been posting those Officer Yudi things from TikTok where he does the dumb laws. I haven't actually gone to TikTok. I think I might have done once. I haven't gone to TikTok to follow this dude. I don't know anything about TikTok. I know it's live or something. Not quite sure how it works, whether it's live and then it holds it, or how people download things. I don't know. It's not like a Snapchat where it disappears clearly. But either way, he's been doing these funny laws, and there have been some hilarious laws, like, you know, you're not allowed, I don't know, take a cow into a bar, kind of. Or you are, and you've got to be accompanied. Just weird stuff. And he's kind of going, why? And his attitude is quite funny. But yeah, these laws still exist. It's a bit scary. And I don't know what it actually... Well, I do know what it takes for the laws to be repealed. They turf them out every so often. But for some reason, I don't know, maybe the US doesn't clean up their acts. Too often. Or they kind of think, oh, it's so obsolete, nobody's going to use it. But, you know, I don't know what the judicial system would think if a police officer was to go, let's get rid of this once and for all, and we're actually going to take it to court, because you need to have a higher court decision. What you do in Australia anyway, to have a higher court decision, actually remove certain things, or to, you know, set the precedent. Sometimes you can take a lower court decision, but the higher court decisions, you know, have more weight. So yeah, you'd probably be, if you were here and there was a dumb law of not to do, I don't know, not to stick your thumb in your neighbour's left ear kind of thing, and somebody actually charged them and took it to court, the magistrate would probably go, well, you're guilty, and then they'd probably appeal it, going, this is a stupid law, we need to get rid of it. And the due process is then that it gets thrown out by a judge saying, yeah, this is a stupid arcane law and we should get rid of it. So they would then dismiss it on appeal for being frivolous or something, and then you no longer start charging people under that, because then you've got a case law. That's how it works over here. Yeah. But some of these old things, they do still linger. Some of our more modern stuff in Tasmania, it has a shelf life of 10 years, and then it's got to be re-parliamented, I think. I don't know what the proper term is, but the Parliament basically have to go, oh yeah, we've got to renew this one. I think we actually had some stuff in the media recently where the law had lapsed. They hadn't renewed it, so there was a period where there was no, there was just no legislation to cover that charge, so charges had to get dropped. Yeah, so it's like, we need to review these charges. It's like, oh, okay. So yeah, I think some people might have got wind of that, and a judicial lawyer would have gone, okay, we can appeal this, just on the basis that the law was not in act at the time. I was like, yeah, loopholes. Crazy. Here's some slightly bad news, slightly depressing news. My books that I'm reading, Cora Seaton, I've got to the end of the series with the sustainable thing. So it's the seals. There's 10 in the series, I think. There might not be. There might actually be another one. Who the heck knows? Because potentially the story could continue. But I've got to the last book that she's actually finished, and I didn't realise that she hadn't finished it, because there was a kind of, and here's book number 10, and I go to buy it and it doesn't exist yet, and it's like, man, now I've got to wait. It's like a TV series. I've been absolutely devouring them, so I've been sitting and reading those pretty much all day. It's very hard to read and do anything else. So yeah, I've been reading those, trying to find out, oh, what's happening next, because what happens is each of the books concentrates on one of the key couples, and then the rest of the characters are kind of by the by, and so each couple kind of has their own story, effectively, with a bit of the byline of everything else going on, as that kind of backstory builds. So yeah, it's coming to the end. They've had 9 of the guys marry off. The deal was that they had to have 3 pregnancies by the end of the year. I think there's 6 or 7 of them actually pregnant, maybe more, I don't know. 1 baby has been born. Oh, that was it. Yeah, 6 pregnant, 1 born. These are all 20-year-old, kind of in their late 20s SEALs who've been in the service for 10 years kind of thing, and then they've got out, they've gone into the sustainable commune, not really commune, community, to try and teach the world how to be sustainable, do life better, I suppose, than burning our bridges and the earth and everything else in it. So it's a great kind of backstory, and each character then, particularly the girls, has a more major backstory. So yeah, absolutely loving that series. So Cora Seaton, if you're interested. So now I've gone on to a different series. Really enjoying her work. And she's apparently only got 28 books, so I've read 14. I think it was 4 in the first series I read. So I'm halfway through her series, and then it's going to be like, now what am I going to do? Where's my, and geez, you hate people to write their books. They take so long. Took one of my authors 20 years, the Clan of the Cave Bear, Jean Owl, took her 20 years to write the last damn book. I don't know if the clan gatherings are happening in France anymore. They were certainly happening a number of years ago, where people would get together and do it, not Neanderthal, but what is it, Cro-Magnon? The one after that. Yeah, hunter-gatherer style. So yeah, I don't know if they still do those, but I would love to see some of the caves. It certainly got me interested in craft, reading those books and caves and the cave paintings. I am not a, what do they call them? There's a term. Splunker. I'm not a splunker. Splunker is somebody who goes cave diving or something like that. My sister did it for a little while. I'm claustrophobic, I suppose, if I think I'm going to get trapped. And that's probably from the days, and I may have mentioned this before, of when I went burrowing down the bottom of my sleeping bags and then would turn in the bottom of the sleeping bags. Clearly I was small enough to be able to do something like that. And I'm talking the old-fashioned sleeping bags that had the square ends, not the new-fashioned sleeping bags that you get now that are narrow at the feet. Yeah, don't do that. I have way too much in there. Never going to get any drills today. That should be heaps. That's still too much. What I need is enough in the cushions and enough to be able to lay flat. That's the intention. So yes, splunking. Yeah, wouldn't mind seeing some of the painted caves. Did go caving in Ireland. Rachel actually has some awesome caves on her side of the country over in the limestones. I think there were bears in there. Yeah, the Alloy Caves. Yeah, there were bears, because the Alloy Caves sign is a bear. And they're freezing cold. We have one cave system that I know of here in Tasmania. And I went through my photos the other day and found one of the rangers, guides, shining a torch into the rock, and the rock had this glow in it. It was really cool. bit of a difference, I think, to how the alloy caves operated. The alloy caves, I think, are all, you know, lights and railings and all of that kind of thing. I don't think our caves here, the Hastings cave, are quite so bastardized and humanized. I think they try and keep them as natural as they can. No, I haven't been to Mole Creek. I was actually thinking the other day, we haven't actually done much travelling at all. Yeah, and the idea of road tripping was like, oh, I don't know. So it kind of gets me back to almost where I was, you know, kind of thinking earlier. I'm just battling these waves of depression and self-doubt and all this kind of crap going through my head, and then kind of going, I really need to, you know, lose weight, or not be in pain. Sorry?
I'll drive, you run behind the car.
Yeah, right. Husband saying he'll drive and I'll run behind the car. Yeah, helpful or not. Anyway, yeah, so I'm kind of dealing with this at the moment. I'm hating it. I don't like the idea of having depression rear its ugly head again. And yeah, it wasn't a nice place to be in, medicated or not. The self-doubt is horrible for everything, and it's, you know, it's kind of like, oh, do I keep going with the channel? Do I keep going with work? Do I keep going with, you know, do I get up? Do I shower? All of that kind of stuff. My husband is chipping in the background telling me I'm going to be fine. Anyway, it's a decision-making thing, and this is, I guess, what I found way back. It is a decision at this stage. If I did let this linger, or was forced to have it linger, as happened back in 2011, it starts to become, I suppose, a mental highway, which means that the road gets used more often in the brain, and the neurons start going, this is happening, this is how we're going to think. And it's kind of like the road less travelled, kind of. You know, so you don't travel your happy road anymore, and you struggle then to get out of the dark, lonely roads. So yes, what I have done in order to not go back to the black dog and play with it is go back to my psychologist. She said, I don't know why we didn't think of this before, and to be honest, it scares the pants off me. Like, seriously, it's going places I don't want to go. And she's kind of going, okay, we're going to do EMDR. It's good for PTSD. It's good for so many things, and it's, you know, it's all of these kind of, you structure everything so it's a safe place, and you've got these twin tappers. If you're interested in what EMDR is, we actually found the clip. It's in Billions in series 5, episode 4, 2 or 4. It's not Wags, it's the Attorney General dude. Chuck is in with the psychologist. There's a light bar beside the psychologist, and it's the opening scene. It's like, it's within the first couple of minutes, and it shows the light bar. Now, she's not going to be using the light bar, she's just going to be using these tappers, and the tappers are basically little vibrating electrodes that you hold in your hand, so they just go bzz, and then this one goes bzz, and it basically gets your brain to go left, right, and it switches the brain emotion sensor off while you process whatever you're processing, kind of, I don't know. It's kind of like diamond painting and talking. Kind of. You know, you guys know about this if you've suffered from anxiety, depression, or anything else. It's the repetitive, it's the processing, it's the non-confrontational conversations, it's the, you know, for me anyway, this is how I work. It doesn't mean that this is how everyone works or anything else. This is how I work. If somebody asks me a pointed question and then looks at me, I get all self-conscious, shut down, and the brain just doesn't work. And I can't get the answer out. I feel too spotlighted. If I'm working and distracted, I could probably get to it without dodging quite so much. I still dodge. I have become an expert at the dodge. People like my husband, God bless his cotton socks, has learned to confront the dodge, whether I like it or not, because it's in my best interest, perhaps. My psychologist has learned to expect it as well. She asks me a question. She will either let me dodge it for a little bit, or she will, you know, kind of stop me and kind of go, you didn't answer that one.
You've been found out.
Well, I think I told her. Well, she knew. Jeez, I don't think she's that bad that she didn't know. Seriously.
Of course, you blamed it on me.
No.
Oh, please do.
Oh, okay. He wants me to blame him. So yeah, I will dodge the emotional questions. So yeah, I've got to face this thing. Feels like an insurmountable mountain. Anyway, that's coming up. I have actually made an appointment with a highly recommended hormone doctor. Even though my GP came back and said, hey, your hormones are all fine, you're not premenopausal, or you're not menopausal. I don't know, kind of thing. I know I'm not menopausal, but am I hell in my brain because of my levels of hormones, or am I something else? And I've got my physio, and she's kind of going, but you're premenopausal at the moment because you're still feeding Sophie. And I'm kind of going, say what? And she's going, yeah, breastfeeding puts you in a premenopausal state because of your hormones, because your estrogen is low. And anyway, this doctor is supposed to know all these things. So I'm going to her and seeing if she can work miracles alongside. Where are we? We've just passed the equinox? No, the solstice. We've just passed the winter solstice. It could be seasonal affective disorder. The GP did confirm that my vitamin D was already low. That does cause depression. That's why people get seasonal affective disorder. It's not enough of the sunlight and all of that kind of stuff. So I have, and he said that I didn't need to do anything about it. And I'm kind of thinking, like, hell, I don't need to do something about this. I've had low vitamin D before. And I took supplements. So I'm taking supplements, and then my psych said, oh, I'm on 5,000 a day. And I said, oh, really? Because I was only taking 1,000, so I've bumped up to 3. It's going to take a couple of weeks for that to kick in. And longer days. The other plan, because they say that exercise helps with depression, the other plan I have is to go to work, get dropped at the front door as I do, hubby drops me, and to James, he drops me at the front door, and then he usually picks me up at the front door as well at the end of the day. But what I will do, sorry? Oh God, my loving husband. Anyway, the chipmunk in the back of the room here. Anyway, my ever serving partner picks me up at the end of the day, and he's punctual as hell in the evening. We don't leave punctually in the morning. That's my fault, because whatever. Anyway, So yeah, my plan is to walk for half an hour out of the office, and he will pick me up at a designated point. And that will get the half-hour exercise in as a forced kind of thing. I have to get to a location. And look, if the weather is bad, yeah, that's all going to change. That's maybe some of the plan. Sounds good in theory. It's just, he's not a walker. He won't walk because his back is fucked. When Sophie's bigger, it's something that I would like to be able to do with her. You know, in being able to go and do things before my body actually fails me completely. Like I said, I need to lose weight, so hopefully if I lose the weight by doing this extra incidental exercise, on my back or my knees won't be screaming at me quite so much. I need to work out how to maintain at a lower level. I last was at a ridiculously low weight, which wasn't actually ridiculous. It's actually my perfect BMI. I don't know how the hell women are that skinny, but anyway. Last time I was at that weight was when I had major depression and I was living on lots of coffee and a very small portion of food per day. He says it was all kinds of unhealthy. The lattes were filling, and I didn't want to.
How many a day?
A few, 5 or 6. Anyway, so yeah, no real food, lots of coffee. The weight fell off, and the depression as well. The weight fell off. Not a good way to lose weight. Then met Marcus, started eating, and put the weight back on. Got to about this level actually, before Sophie was born. And then had gestational diabetes and lost the weight with her because I was monitoring my food again. Monitoring my carbs more than anything. But that wasn't sustainable. And in the process, I got down to my ideal weight, but started eating again normally, and it all went back up. So I need to find a way to maintain it down there with a lifestyle that we've currently got. So, or change the lifestyle. Now that I'm on the cholesterol stuff and all that kind of crap, it's, you know, I could either wait for the stroke or heart attack and then change, you know, or if I survived, of course, or do something now and, you know, kick myself in the ass and say, hey, you have a 2-year-old that you love and adore and will stare at when she sleeps. I'll stare at her when she's awake too. Yeah, I stare at her in amazement all the time. Just in awe of this kid. I think she's awesome. But yeah, I would be stupid to fuck it up just because I'm too whatevered to do it. So yeah, it's like, okay, enough's freaking enough. And if I have to stay on statins, then I stay on statins. Oh, the good news was I'm not diabetic yet. The H1 ABC, or the H, whatever the stupid thing is, the glucose stores, that result came back okay. That basically tells you the glucose store for the last 3 months in a blood cell is what that test is. And that's why they test it every 3 months. I don't know how they know that a blood cell is 3 months old. I don't know how they test it. Blood work is probably something I maybe should get into. But it's slightly fascinating that they can tell this information and everything else. So yeah, that was a good result. Hubby was with the doctor yesterday, and the doc goes, "Oh, this problem could be caused by diabetes. Let's check your blood sugars." And he gives him the finger prick test. And I said, "Yeah, we did that when I had GD, just for curiosity." And he was fine. And actually, he was probably about the same level as he was. And he goes, "And how long is it since you've eaten?" I said, "Oh, he's had a coffee this morning." "Oh yeah, he's had porridge." So yeah, he has eaten about 2 hours ago. And yeah, did the finger prick test, and it was 5.7. I think you guys in the States use a different system. You use something that's more like hundreds. So I don't know how they convert. And he goes, "That's bloody good." You know, he was kind of saying, "Oh, if you're diabetic, it's going to be over 11. Now, I've got a friend of mine who is a type 1 diabetic. She can't, won't, or doesn't manage it properly, so it's up around the 14s normally. Herself and her son are diabetic. He ends up in hospital all the time, I think because they're so inconsistent with their insulin. She gets sick regularly, and just battles through, and yeah, quite horrific. Seeing what she does to herself, and she just kind of, blows it off, I think, as not as serious as it is. I had a colleague who was in his late 40s, took ill, and was then diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic. Pancreas, bang, gone. Stopped working. And yeah, he's on insulin ever since then. So he's moved to the mainland and is trying to find work up there and all that kind of thing. But yeah, it's quite uncanny how, you've got people around you that do this or have these things happen to them. And then we've heard from Beth about Maddie's journey. Maddie being Shine Like a Diamond, being Beth, and Maddie being her daughter, and the fundraising that they did. If you want to hear more about childhood diabetes, go and listen to the Sparkleathon for June, just recently gone. It is in one of my playlists, and you can listen to people talking about charities and initiatives that they would like you to learn about or support or just get information on. So Beth shared information on Maddie and childhood diabetes from her point of view as a mum, and yeah, so it's there. I mean, look, it's just as prevalent, I suppose, a word diabetes as, the whole cancer is a word that is bandied about. Got a fair share of people who are dealing with that too, or have, or died, or are dying, kind of, or living in that shadow kind of thing right now, and have done all my life. My mum died when I was 13, the day before I was 13, but she was sick most of my childhood. So yeah, cancer is a scourge that so many have to deal with too. Life. Yeah, see, there are times where I kind of think, yeah, I'd just be better off out of here. Check out. Let's go. Is there something better? That's the big conundrum. Yeah, my husband will probably hunt me down and say, "Don't you fucking dare." And then he'll tell me, "I'm fucking right on this." Yeah. Yeah, he's doing Monty Python on me. Anyway. Yeah. I've got black cats. I only ever had one dog. No, I had one black dog. She was my best dog. She was a spaniel. She was gorgeous. The other one I had that was black was actually brown and fluffy. Yeah, he was weird. Something weird going on with these too. Like they're not quite fitting. So yeah, if anyone is familiar with EMDR, please tell me it's not so freaking scary. Yeah, it says you who hasn't done it.
It's not freaking scary.
It's not about the EMDR being scary, it's the going into the emotional pit of denial that's scary, I think, more than anything. Yeah, it's scary. Because it's having to change the bad habits that I've got. And change is like... yeah. That old chestnut. I should get a mic over with him so you can actually hear his pickup a bit better instead of having me relay it, so you can actually hear his little funny quips and stuff, because, you know, it makes sense. I mean, you know, he's right. If only he could see my face too. He walked into the kitchen this morning to make soup, and he goes, comes out to me and he says, "Hey, you know all those spider plants in the kitchen? Can we move them?" I'm kind of thinking, you want me to move my spider plants that you think are taking up the kitchen bench? And no, it's not the spider plants taking up the kitchen bench. It's the shit that's there that doesn't move around the spider plants. Anyway, the spider plants need to go anyway. Can you just fix my cross-stitch light, please? No, you don't need to do the bread. There's a ton of that sourdough that you can use. Yes, fix the damn lights. I went to turn my flower light on, as we call it, because it looks like a flower, to do some cross stitching the other night, and it didn't come on, and it was like, honey, my light's not coming on. And then he fiddled with something else, and fiddled with something else, and then all the lights went off. And I was like, really? So the house is back to the original, I don't know, 3 working lights. There's one behind me, there's one over the dining table, and that's it for the whole lounge dining area lighting. The lighting in this house originally was appalling. I don't know how the hell it, and I'm kind of sitting there, I think it was last night, thinking, how the frig does anybody do any cross stitch back in the days where there were bloody candles? You've got nothing to be able to see any. I was like, oh my god, hats off to these women who used to do crafting back in the day by firelight, or, you know, after the kids had gone to bed and they'd done all the chores, and fuck, they need medals, these women. Seriously, you know, any of you guys who do crafting and realize that you don't have the lighting, you don't have the eyesight anymore, you only craft at daytime because you can't see what you're doing, and you're kind of going, oh my god, and I have to get these magnifiers. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just like, having good lighting, you take for granted until you lose it, and it's just like, oh, yeah, got so spoiled. Anyway, this is probably going to be one of my shorter. I was never taking your light designs for granted, but anyway. Yeah, this is probably going to be a shorter whip and chat, seeing as my section is about to finish. I don't think I'll go and do a second section. This is the beauty, I suppose, of multi-placing with a monochrome, where I had an extra drill. I thought I saw it drop. Anyway, find it in a minute. I think just like that one. It's just because the blue tack is bulging out a bit and it's catching one on the outside. So, you know what also happened from the DP-a-thon? Hardly any subs. I don't know how the other girls have done with sub counts, and again, this is down to lack of promotion, lack of maybe support, lack of advertising potentially, because the smaller channels don't get the coverage, they don't get the advertising, and we really need the bigger channels to go, this is on, go check it out. You know, look, I know I don't get a chance to watch so many of the videos that I'm subscribed to. It's not, you know, but sometimes there's gold that you miss, there's, you know, the stories that you miss because, you know, life is busy and it gets in the way, but subscriptions count, and of course they do, but having your support also counts. I'm just looking for loose drills. I don't think there are any. I'm checking that none of these fell out. Oh, that's 4. Right. It really does help. So, I mean, yeah, which is, I think, another reason why I was feeling a bit dejected and kind of going, nobody loves me, everybody hates me, I'm just going to go and eat worms. And it was, you know, my subscription count didn't go up from the DP-a-thon, and, you know, before that it has gone up by a massive jump. It's been like 20 subs in a day kind of thing, or 20 subs in a week, and that's more than I would normally get, you know, in a normal, just ticking along kind of thing. So, yeah, there's kind of, does anybody really have any interest in what I've got to say or share or whatever? And I know that I do. I know, because I've got my commenters, you know, each and every video almost, and they're kind of saying, hey, love to hear these. And, you know, I've got one commenter, I think every Friday, will say, love these facts, absolutely love these facts, you know, and that really does encourage us to keep prattling on, you know, and sharing who we are with you guys, because, you know, that's what kind of what we want to do. It helps us, you know. You listen to Sherry and she's kind of going, this is her journaling, well, this is me. And the reason why you get to see this, because there's no way in hell I'm, you know, model material or anything else, and the reason why you get to see this is because it's important for me that if something ever happens to me, like happened to my mum, Sophie has me that she can still see. I don't know if, unless you've lost a parent, maybe that, well, no, if you've lost a parent, I don't think it matters what age. I think every one of us who has lost a loved one would want to be able to say, I would love to see them again. I'd love to see their mannerisms. It's not just a photograph. It's not just a passing thing. It's like, oh my God, I remember you doing that. Oh my God, I remember you making these cookies. That's the kind of thing I want to try and capture. As much as I hate being on camera or hate looking at myself and kind of going, oh fuck, I'm ugly. You know, I've got this or whatever it is. And I'm kind of thinking, you know, no, I'm not a looker, but I am her mum. And while my kids don't talk to me at the moment, for whatever reason, life is busy or just, you know, they're obnoxious teenagers, I don't know. But someday they might kind of go, oh, you know what, it's too fucking late to talk to my mum because she's dead and buried. But there's still the videos that they can see, and they can kind of go, oh yeah, there she is. And she is just kind of like I remember or whatever. So that, yeah, you can, I'll do a video for them someday. That might be a bit scathing though. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I've got to go and do some therapy now. I tried to get Sophie to come for a walk with me before she went to bed. She was watching, I don't know what the hell she was watching. She was watching Learning How to Go to the Toilet. And it was kind of like, oh no, I don't go to oh, what was it? I need to go to the toilet. I'm not going to go in my pants. I'm going to go to the toilet. I go to the toilet in the toilet. And I was just like, what the hell? I don't know if it was the yellow wiggle. No, it wasn't Big Bunny. It was singing. It was either her or the play school chick. Where they're teaching the kids not to do or to do certain things. It was weird. But yes, she was watching that and I said, do you want to go for a walk now? So, and then she came to the room because I said, do you want to get shoes and socks on? And she's going, no, and she's crying, and it's like, oh, do you want to go to bed then? And she goes and toddles off and starts getting into bed and waits to get tucked in, and you know, it's all kind of cute. So she's sleeping right now, hence me recording without the interruptions. Because you've seen when she comes over, it's kind of like a free-for-all. She wants my pens, she wants my magnets, sorry, drill sticking up. She wants my magnets, she loves playing with these. She will actually sit on my lap and play with these on my lap, which is all kinds of cute until she's actually in my way and it's like, I can't do anything. But there's certain things that she is allowed to kind of play with and fiddle and stuff, so yeah. She gets to do that. She might wake up and she'll see the camera running and she'll kind of go Flopsy, you know, and wave him to kind of say, hey, it's Flopsy. And then she'll go, oh, look, it's you. You're on camera. And, you know, things like that. So she very much gets a bit of a kick out of things like that. But, yeah. So I didn't get a walk with her before she went to bed. So I might grab a walk with her afterwards. Might just go up the end of the road and back and just loosen up the whole backbone or something. Just to get some walking in. I need to get some more regular walking in. I've had a nice couple of days here in Tassie. It's a bit high scattered cloud at the moment. Pale blue shining through. No sun. It's just grey. But not foggy. So that's a bit of a... It's just one of those, you know, put a jumper on kind of thing and go for a walk. There was a feature called the Disappearing Tarn up the mountain. When it rains so much, this puddle fills up, basically. It's quite pretty. But every man and his dog from Hobart's gone in, and it's something like an hour and a half walk in. I'm kind of thinking, yeah, I'd love to do that. Oh yeah, my back. Oh, my knees. It's like, oh shit. I'm too old for this shit. Dear. If you're young and you're fit, get the fuck out and do something while you still can before your body drops off and fails you. Please. Yeah, I think I wish I had that advice when I was much younger. Get out and do things while you still can. And not fob it off. Not realise that I was actually fobbing it off. Anyway. I can't believe it's July tomorrow? 30 days, September, April, June. Yeah, it's July tomorrow. Good God. Do you want me to print what? A new walking stick. No, new brain. That would be good. New brain. Less of these less of these negative emotions. No, you need a new spine. Not that you're spineless. Yeah, we're waiting until the day when they can actually print 3D print vertebrae so that he isn't quite so decrepit and in constant pain either. He's fine. Yeah. He gets to play with the drugs because he doesn't breastfeed. Speaking of not breastfeeding, other girly stuff, but hey, it's going to brighten up the end of the video, right? I was thinking this because, you know, it's that time of the month. But anyway, there are these stupid facts for anyone who doesn't live in Australia. I don't know if you have them over in the States. Libra, one of the sanitary towel companies here, puts facts on the sanitary pads. Now, they used to do it as a whole strip. They don't do that anymore because they've changed the packaging. So you get a little strip and there may only be 3 or 4 facts on that little strip. So I'm going to read you some of these facts. Did you know your nipples are in line with your ears? How many of you have checked? They're not all sexually related. You're fine. A person living to 75 years of age will have slept almost 23 years of their life, or about 220,000 hours. And then it says how many hours are behind are you, because we sleep a lot less than that. 23 years, it seems like a long time. Most newborns cry without tears until they are 3 to 6 weeks old. Human birth control pills work on gorillas. Why the hell they tested this, I don't know. By the age of 60, most people will have lost half of their taste buds. Oh, that's really shitty. That's really, really poor. That's terrible. Losing food and smell and that's quite bad. Ever wondered about why you're so ticklish? I'm not. I can control my tickles. A tickle sensation is your body's reflex warning to something that may potentially hurt you. I can control that, mostly. The only part of your body you can tickle yourself is the roof of your mouth. And then in brackets it says, try it. This really works. It does, actually. I'm not doing it now. The Beatles used the word love in songs 613 times throughout their career. Now here's a bit of a wonky one for you. Crocodiles are colorblind. Maybe they don't want to see the colour blood. I don't know. A crocodile cannot stick its tongue out. I didn't think they actually had a tongue. They've got teeth, but I didn't think there was a tongue in there. Anyway, female elephants produce only 1 offspring every 5 years. Maybe some of you guys would like that too. The average cob of corn has 800 kernels arranged in 16 rows. Count it the next time you have a corn cob. Organ transplant recipients can often take on similar traits to that of the organ donor. Yeah, that's a bit scary. There are especially if it's a psychopath. There are 450 types of cheeses in the world. 250 come from France. They're really good. Mostly soft over there, though. The penguin is the only bird that can swim but not fly. I think I saw that this morning. The cat has 32 muscles in each ear, which is why they do the flick and they're amazing. Watch a cat and blow on its ear is the funniest thing. If you have a cat, blow on its ear. I dare you, and record it if you can. The average person will consume 50 tons of food and 45,000 litres of water in a lifetime. The average person. I don't know what that's based on. This is from a relaxedparenting.com website. So I don't know if it's a US based or Australian based. US, I know you eat a lot more food, or you get served a lot more food. Other countries, I don't know. The oyster is usually ambisexual. It begins life as a male and becomes a female and may go back and forth many times. That would be a hell of a birth certificate. French fries were originally from Belgium, and a newborn hedgehog starts growing its spines within 24 hours of birth. So they're sheathed when they're born. Lucky mum. Alright, that's 20 facts. Apparently these things have been going for months and months and months. This blog thing that I got some of those listed, apparently she hadn't had a period for 19 months and then she has a period again, and it's like, oh yeah, there's all these facts. There's a Facebook group, for goodness sake, with these facts. It's called The Awesome Crap Facts on the Back of Libra Pads, and I think it was last populated in 2011. So yeah, there's a picture of a dude covered in sanitary pads for some weird reason, but yeah. I may do more of those stupid facts. I actually don't know how many of these facts that there are. I think they're like fortune cookies, you know, they're always hanging around kind of thing. So yeah. Joys. Some of them are funny, but actually there were, and you know, people kind of take the piss and, you know, have a bit of fun, and there's memes and things. You know, some of these aren't kind of funny, but funny haha, but yeah, they kind of change your perspective, I guess, is what they do. So yeah, on that note, I'm going to leave you. I will see you around the tubes. Please, if you like my videos, like, subscribe, chat to me, comment, please, you know, drop a comment. Yes, I know we really appreciate it. I certainly appreciate it when I'm chatting with my friends on their channels, and I'm kind of going, hey, you know, and we relate, and you know, you've got common ground and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's the kind of thing that I'm dealing with. But yeah, I've got some changes to make. Back to work next week, and yeah, it'll just be a case of ticking along as usual. So I'll have less time and maybe more stories. I don't know. It depends, because I can't often share work stories. But we'll see what happens. It's always changing. But anyway, there will be videos as always. So ring the bell, get your notifications, you know, find your people and connect with them somehow. And
remember, everybody who rings the bell gives you a smile.
Aww. No, I don't see anyone who rings the bell. I only see people who subscribe.
Okay. Everybody who subscribes or rings the bell or does something
Yeah,
else,
I tell you what, yeah.
gives you a smile for 5 seconds. There you go.
He's kind of got a point. He said everyone who subscribes does give you a smile for, you know, 5 seconds, whatever it is. But it is true. When we get an email saying so-and-so subscribed to you, like, and I'm not name dropping here, but I am. It's just one of them that I remember. It was kind of like, Tia subscribed to me very recently. And it's kind of like, I've been following Tia for ages. And we've always chatted on the live chats and stuff, and it was like, oh my god, she subscribed to me. And you know, it does give you a bit of a thrill because I know who she is. Now, okay, there's some people who are a bit more anonymous and I don't know who, you know, Tina might be, or you know, Alison, or whatever it might be, but it's still a bit of a thrill to kind of go, hey, you've subscribed to me. And I do appreciate that you do appreciate what I have to say or share or whatever. So yeah, thank you. It really, you know, yeah, it's just been one of those days, one of those weeks, building. And that's how the black dog works. And yeah, it's a case of retraining the brain and not letting it take a hold. So yeah, training. And they say exercise, and again, pit of the winter and all that kind of thing. Don't do an office job. Yeah, I think that's one of the other things with Cora Seaton. She's writing these books about the sustainability, and they're all working in the outdoors, and they're working in the greenhouses, and you know, all of this kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, I wish. And then I've got to go back into the office, and yeah, I could drop that. The pay is nice though. The pay is pretty good. Anyway, yeah, you know what it's like. We have to earn a living, but yeah, it's kind of like sometimes I'd go, it's not worth it. It really isn't worth it. If you can do your dream job, do your dream job. Absolutely. Do your dream job. Whether it's crafting or whatever, work out a way that you can earn money doing what you love. That's the tip for the day. Alright, look after yourselves, please. We are not out of the woods with COVID. Victoria is getting stupid again. 75 cases, I think, overnight in the day before yesterday. Just because social distancing stopped and protesting started, and now we're getting into that incubation kind of period, and testing is changing and things like that. So yeah, please stay safe. I know it's far from out of the woods over in the States. We've just ticked over, was it 10 million people who had or have had COVID in the world as of this week. And then, you know, we still get the naysayers saying, oh, it's not as serious as flu. And it's like, yeah, I think it kind of is. You know, so please stay safe. Wear masks, gloves, wash your damn hands. But if you're not looking out for you, look out for your loved ones, because they're worth it. Put it that way. Unless you want to get them, you know, carted off in a wooden box. Look after them, because they might not be able to look after themselves. Bye for now. See you soon, and I'll see you on the tubes.